Hi everyone, my name is Jordan Mittler, and today I'm going to be delivering a Dvar Torah on Parshat Tetzaveh. In politics, we have this idea of the separation of powers, which is basically the idea that not one person or one class should have full authority, but rather it should be distributed among different roles and different people. And in Judaism, the division of religious leadership is actually pretty similar in terms of the fact that we have the prophet or the Navi, and we also have the priest. And specifically in this week's Parsha, this is clearly emphasized as this Parsha is completely focused on the priest and doesn't even mention the prophet. In fact, this is the only Parsha in all of Shemot where Moshe's name is not even mentioned at all. Basically showing that this is totally focused and concentrated on the priest. And this is essential in many ways because it basically teaches us that leadership can't really be confined to one class or one role in both Judaism and in other forms of leadership, but rather it must always be divided and distributed. For example, in ancient Israel, there were kings that dealt with power, there were priests that dealt with holiness, and then prophets with basically the integrity and faithfulness of a society as a whole. And overall, in Judaism, leadership is less of a function, but rather it's a combination of different roles, each with its own perspective and each with its own voice. In musical terms, leadership is what we call a counterpoint, where it is basically the technique of combining two or more melodic lines in a way that they establish some sort of harmony while still retaining their individuality, which is something that is represented in leadership as well. And if we take this lesson and expand it a little bit further, in any sort of team or group, it's important to recognize different people's roles and strengths and their different perspectives, as opposed to laying everything on one person. They also need to be open to criticism, and the glory of the Jewish religion and Judaism is that God is kind of the leader of it all, and down here on earth, we don't have this one central leader, but we have groups, we have priests, we have prophets, we have kings that we could rely on. Shabbat Shalom.